Hiya, my name's Jo, and today we are going to have a go at doing some printmaking together. Now, this is a great activity for all the families to get involved with. And we're going to have a go at first making some abstract prints by having a look around the house and finding some objects that we might want to stamp with and testing them out. And then we can bring them together to create a picture of something. I had a look at my objects and decided to create a face. But the challenge for you guys is going to be to see what you can make. Now, when you think of printmaking, you might immediately think of these type of stamps where you've got like a wooden block and then you've got a rubber stamp on the bottom. If you've got some of these, then great, and you can use those as part of your printmaking. But if not, that is not a problem. Today we're going to be using, I've got some old yogurt pots, I've got some corks, I've got a toilet roll tube, all sorts of pens, I've even got some celery, and I'll talk you through more through choosing your objects shortly, but this is going to be exciting. First off, I want to show you some pictures of some famous printmakers. First up, we've got Jasper Johns. He's an American artist. He was born in 1930. He's still alive. So he's currently 90 years old, which I think is amazing. Jasper Johns paints, but he also does printmaking. And this is an example of a print that he has made. You can see here that it's got handprint in it. It's got some leaves, some string. And one of the things that he loves to do is find objects that he likes to print with and then use them repeatedly in different compositions, in different ways to make different pictures. And so you can start to see that here with this next one. He's got some bubble wrap. There is maybe a mug that he's printed with, some letter stamps, this hand shape. And he's used the same shapes in lots of different ways, in lots of different compositions to make new images. And so the possibilities are endless here. And yeah, I just want you guys to be able to think outside the box and see what you can make. Klee is another artist that I want to show you. He's actually a painter, but these pictures in particular have this similar quality to printmaking. To me, they look like he's gone and got those wooden blocks from the toy box and covered them in paint and used them to print these bright colours with, and there are these beautiful textures that you can see that's very similar to printmaking, and he's just brought together all these shapes to create something it's quite abstract, but also it kind of looks like a magical castle. So let me show you some of the things that I've got in front of me here. I've got some paint, ready mix or child-friendly acrylic will do. It doesn't need to be expensive, just needs to be wet and colourful. I have a little pot of water and a cloth to make cleaning up really easy. If there's any spills, any mess, I can clean them up immediately. I've got a pair of scissors just in case I want to cut anything into a new shape. This tray here, this is what I'm going to put my paint on. This is my paint palette. You could use a plastic plate or a paper plate, but something quite wide and flat is great for this. I've also got some sponges, and I'm going to use these to apply the paint onto my objects. Or you could use paintbrushes as well. And I've got some of those ready, just in case. And the last thing you're going to need is some paper. I've got some white A4, but any kind of paper will do. Brown paper, old bags, you know, anything you like. So I've just cleared my workspace. I've put my paint to one side, so it's right next to me, ready to go. I've got a nice clear space in front of me, ready to work. The next part of the video is the most exciting, I think. I'm going to talk you through some of the objects that I've got in front of me to paint with. And to make prints with, and then once I've talked you through, you can pause the video and go and have a look around and see what you can find, and gather a pile of objects ready to paint with. So the first thing I did this morning was I went into the recycling to have a look and see what I could find there. I found myself some yogurt pots, different sizes and different shapes. I found a toilet roll tube. an old water bottle, and I mean, have a look. You might find egg cartons, you might find funky shaped boxes. The possibilities are endless, so go and see what you can find. The great thing about recycling is you can get paint on it and then you can wash it off again, put it back in the recycling, or if it's painty and soggy, you can throw it in the bin, and it's already had its next life. And so recycling is a great place to go. I've also got an old cork here, another great thing to print with. The next place I went was the fridge, and in the fridge I found a piece of celery, and I also found a potato. Potato printing is the old favourite for preschool teachers. It never gets old, but if you are printing with objects out of the fridge, make sure you've got an adult to cut things up for you. Yeah. So next on my list of places to look, I went outside, and at the moment the leaves are falling. We've got lots of dry leaves, and lots of leaves on the ground. So I went and I picked a few interesting looking shaped leaves, a few different colours, things that were dry. I picked these ones as well. When you're getting leaves, just be careful not to get anything spiky or like, don't go near the nettles. Maybe take an adult with you to just check that the leaves aren't going to hurt you. But there are loads of leaves in the garden, I'm sure, and I go and have a look and see what you can find of the different shapes. And then the other place I went to the stationery cupboard, and I found these pens, and they're all different sizes. They've got slightly different textures on the ends, and so I'm excited to see what shapes I can make with these. Found a piece of string. I'm going to have a go printing the string. When you're choosing objects from around the house, it's important to remember things that clean really easily. So like plastic metals are great, but always ask an adult first. Don't go putting paint on your mum's favourite, I don't know, anything, unless you've asked permission. And she might be able to find you something that is much better than you could ever have imagined. So always ask an adult first. The other place I went to the toy box, and I found these little dinosaurs, and I'm going to have a go at printing their footprints. But as I mentioned earlier, like wooden blocks, Lego, if you've got like plastic toy cars, they can be really fun, but only if they're quite easy to clean. Like bath toys are great because they are very easy to clean. They live in the water. Yeah, so see what you can find. All right, now's the time to pause and go and look. And then I will see you back in a minute. Welcome back. I hope that you had a great time looking around the house and finding some great objects to print with. Now we're going to have a go at testing our objects out. We're going to probably make something quite abstract like this, but let's play around and see what shapes we can make. I'm going to show you my paper so that you can see what I'm doing and follow along. First step is to pick an object. I've gone for this pen because I think that this will make a really interesting print. So always choose a flat surface to test out. I've just put a bit of paint on a sponge, and I'm going to sponge it onto my pen lid. And now I'm going to pick a place on my paper and just press it down and see what different shapes I can make. And you'll be able to see that when it's got more paint on it, it makes a flat colour, and then you get these wonderful textures as you get less and less paint on. And so see what happens when you do that. I'm just going to wipe things in between so that I know what's got paint on it and what's not. And I've got a toilet roll, and with this one I'm actually just going to dip it straight into the paint on my palette. So yeah, make sure that the whole surface is covered. See what happens. What shape does it make? I really like lines and patterns, but you guys can print in whatever way you like. I'm going to have to go with this celery because it's got this really funky shape here. Maybe inside the circles, layering up the different colours. I think this might be in a really interesting shape, so let's see what that does. I really like that. Nice shape. I'm going to have a go at adding a bit more paint and see what happens. So this stage is really just a point of trial and error. See what happens, see what shapes you like and what things you don't. I've got a rubber here, see what that does. It's not a flat surface, but it does roll around, it does make an interesting print shape. Some things might make different shapes than what you expect, and that can be really exciting. Got a little dinosaur, let's see what colour, what his feet come out like as. You might get some interesting things that you didn't expect to happen as well. You might begin to notice how slight changes in the texture on something, while they might feel quite flat or look quite flat, have a really big impact on the way it stamps. I'm gonna have a go with this leaf. Got a nice green. To do the leaf, I'm gonna lay it on my palette on a clean bit, and I'm gonna paint with a paintbrush to make sure it's all nice and covered. And then I'm going to press it down. I've got painty fingers, so once it's placed down, I'm actually going to get a clean piece of paper, and I'm going to press it down with a clean piece of paper and see what happens. So I don't get nasty finger marks on it, but that can be quite a fun way to do it. That one worked really well, actually. Look at it. And so keep going until you finish the whole page, and I will show you how it turns out. And here we go. Here's my finished piece. I'm really pleased with it, actually. I really like the bright colours, and I think there's some really interesting shapes. Like, I love this shape that I've got here. That was pen lid. I actually really like how the rubbers come out with the white colour, with the white in the middle where it's pushed the paint away. Yeah, and the yogurt pots make really interesting on the top as well. So I hope that you've had some success with your printmaking as well. Now the next part, I'm sure you've made some beautiful artworks so far. The next part is a real challenge. So if you're up for it, come and take part in this challenge with me. The next thing is to look at all the shapes that you've made and have a think about whether they could make a face. You can see that I've already had a go here. See if you can guess some of the different things that I used to make this face. This is a big old plastic pot that I found, and I just painted around the edge and made the round face shape. I found an old deodorant in the recycling, and I used it to make the eye shapes. Then I've got corks that made the middle of the eyes and the rosy cheeks, and the noses at 2 bits of a rubber. This big smile shape, that's a bit of celery. These eyebrows. So to do the eyebrows, I used just a section of the yogurt pot, and I just painted a small part of it, one corner, to make the eyebrows. And then this lovely spiky orange hair is a leaf that I found outside. You might want to have a competition with your friends or family to see who can make the wackiest face, or even who can make the face that looks most like them. And I think that would be quite a challenge. So yeah, good luck, and I hope that you have some real fun with this challenge. or maybe post your images on social media and tag Imperial Healthcare Charity when you do, so we can see what you have been up to. Thanks for watching, and have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye.